Good morning, lovely lights. I am here having a few technical difficulties, but I'm working it out. So, today I am inspired to talk about being your authentic self. And what does it even mean to be your authentic self? I feel like a lot of us think that we're being our authentic self when we're still just being the facade of a person that we believe that our ego thinks is our truth. Our authentic self is the real us underneath of everything. Being authentic it's so much different than I thought that it would be. Being authentic, being authentic is releasing your ego perceived self. And the ego perceived self is not just like the pompous, like I think I'm amazing human. Ego is something that is inside of all of us. Ego is the identity that we think that we are from our environmental impacts, from our parents, our teachers, our siblings, our friends, the people that surround us, the people you spend the most time with, like the 5-10 people you spend the most time with. They heavily influence who we are as a human. And I know personally, I've had struggles in life of not being my authentic self when I thought I was being my authentic self, but I was more seeking acceptance from other people. Being authentic is letting go of all limitations, letting go of all judgments. A true authentic self is when you find compassion and love in your heart and you open your heart up to love. And you don't see colors of skin, you don't see genders, you don't see country separation, political separation. You don't see that. You see a person for who they really are. And for me, something that's been really helpful of finding an authenticity in another person is staring directly in their eyes. And no matter how comfortable that gets, I know a lot of people have a very hard time with eye contact, but to me, the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And I've had moments with people in my life. I have a friend and her husband is like a multi-millionaire, and I was really intimidated by him at first. Why? He's a multi-millionaire person. And it came to fruition that my dad was actually his wrestling coach, and my dad helped him out when he was in high school. And I just stripped away everything that I thought that I knew about him, or judgments that he might have on me, or weird notions that I put in my mind, and just as uncomfortable as it was, just stare straight in the eyes. And when I stare in somebody's eyes, I look for the reflection of light. And to me, this reflection of light is the reflection of our soul coming through. And when you make this direct eye contact, you can really connect deep with somebody. And even if you feel like, okay, I need a break, and you need to look off for a moment, you can. But bring your authentic self, open your heart, and bring your authentic self to just show up authentically. Yesterday was my last day of doing hair. My hair career is officially, professionally ended. I'll still do kind of hair at home, but I'm on this new journey I will forever be on this journey, but this journey of being a mommy and yoga teacher training. I signed up and it's official. I'm beginning at this amazing yoga studio, which is actually on the same block that my salon is on, downtown Fort Collins. It's amazing, called Omananda, and I'm so excited, and it begins so soon in 3 weeks, January 21st. It's Happy New Year's Eve. It's 2018 is in the making tonight, and I feel so many good, amazing things, and I feel like being our true authentic self is the only way to bring what we deserve and desire into our lives, is our true authentic self. Yesterday, one of my amazing clients, and I think that we decided, I've been doing her hair for 13 years, and she's amazing. And she's been with me pre-babies, through all my pregnancies, all my shit with my husband. I've been through some very deep things with her, and crazy experiences in her life, and she's a very inspired writer. She actually wrote to heal from trauma that she endured of a child. She found her father. She was the first person who found him when he committed suicide when she was 13, which is so heavy. And she shared with me how writing was just helping heal her, and she inspired me to write. And I wrote. It's a 280-page. It's kind of like a self-help spiritual memoir, stories, motivational book, Spiritual Birth. And I wrote that book, and it's so many words. It's like 110,000 words, which is a 280-page book. And that book helped heal me so much. And my client just helped over the past 13 years. Like, she helped open me up so much. And she's actually a yoga teacher, and she does this after-school yoga for children. And she goes into public schools and she offers after-school yoga for children. And she's been so inspiring, and she's gently put the yoga bug in my ear. And so many times I've heard it and thought, oh, that's just not for me. I'm not flexible, or I have to do something more intense like CrossFit or high-intensity workouts, or I have to sprint so fast, or I have to do all these crazy things for people to perceive me as strong. And what I realized through this client and our connection is none of that was authentic or true to myself. Like, none of that working out so hard I almost barfed my guts out, or injuring myself with CrossFit all the time. Like, all the time I was injured. Like, yes, I physically looked stronger, and people would comment, oh, wow, your arms are ripped, Shelly. But does it really matter? And my client shared with me how she said, my body has never been softer than it is now doing yoga for the past 9+ years. But I've never loved myself as much as I love myself when I do yoga or living the yoga lifestyle. And for me, it's your authentic self. And another thing that she shared was, she said, I don't have time for people's shit if they're not real, if they are not authentic. I don't have time for unauthentic shit from people, which is so true. And I find myself surrounded, the holidays, it's a lot of family stuff going on, and you find yourself in a lot of unauthentic things. Or right now, this time of year, I feel like there's a lot of sickness going on, and I believe that we create our own illnesses. And I have a little cold right now, and I know that I brought it onto myself because, family drama and just life happening. And when we, in the winter time, I know we all naturally hibernate. I do. And the coldness just traps everything in. And I think that we feel that we get trapped inside of our thought and our self-hindering thoughts when it's so cold. Like today, it's beautiful and it's snowy. And I know a lot of people would say, oh, it's snowing. My amazing husband, who we've been on this up and down slope, he is so pumped about this morning being so snowy, and he went to go ski these banana bowls. So he's woke up at 5. It's New Year's Eve, Sunday. He woke up at 5 and drove all the way up into the national park, and I think it's at Bear Lake up in Estes Park. I don't know if it's Estes Park, but up in the national park. And they're skiing banana bowls, which sounds crazy. I'm like, a banana bowl? It's a bowl that looks like a banana. And my husband just is like thrilled and embracing life, and he's so inspiring, and he's so his authentic self in moments. And then there's the moments where I feel he's lashing out on fear, which I do too, when we get angry or snap to judgments with fear. It's because we're fueled with fear instead of being fueled with love. But in moments where my husband is fueled with love, it literally just beams and radiates off of him, and he's just like the most joyous person. And I know the same is true for me too. I feel like all of our relationships, all of our really close, authentic relationships, to me, are mirrors of myself. Because I will have my soul sister, my soul friends, and they'll share with me things that are going on in their lives, and it's so similar to what's going on in my life, just like slightly skewed, just altered. Today I'm drinking a green kombucha tea, and my little yogi label today, I'll read it to you, is forgiveness is an act of consciousness. Forgiveness is an act of consciousness. Another huge factor to me of being an authentic self is finding forgiveness. And finding forgiveness not only for those who have done you wrong, hurt you really bad, maybe abuse you, or I know it's so hard for people, I've never been in this situation, people who have been sexually abused. How would you ever find forgiveness for somebody who has physically abused you or sexually or mentally abused you? I've had definitely mental and physical abuse. I've had those aspects, but I've never had the sexual abuse, being sexually abused. And I can see how that would be very challenging to release that. But Louise Hay is an inspiring, amazing soul who wrote You Can Heal Your Life, and she was raped when she was 5, and she was told that it was her fault when she was put on the stand in court, and she manifested over the years cancer inside of her vagina. Like, she had cancer, and she embraced that she had created that because she couldn't forgive herself and she couldn't forgive that person. And yes, that person, we're not condoning their behavior, we're not condoning people who mentally, physically, sexually abuse people. We're not saying it's okay. We're noting that that's their level of consciousness and they don't know any better. Excuse me. Thank you, baby. And excuse me, everyone, I believe we truly are all doing the best that we can at our level of consciousness. And people that are so dark and they're so beaten, so battered, and they're truly victims of victim, like people who do these horrendous acts, like maybe they have grown up like in the marshmallow world, or maybe they grew up in a crack house, or their mom was a prostitute, or not even something like that. Maybe it was just like an absent parent, like a parent that was there physically but not emotionally, or a parent who discouraged feelings, a parent who name called, a parent who belittled. Like all of our main issues are, they're just mental programmings that we can alter. I've been working on this for years, and I will be working on it for the rest of my life, for the rest of this journey of this beautiful life. And it's just important to remember authenticity, remember your compassion and your love, and find forgiveness for those who need forgiving. Even when it's so hard, when you want to just like hold these crazy grudges or hate, anger, rage, just think of that's hurting you more than it's hurting the other person. Because that person, their level of consciousness is way down. Your level of consciousness is up. And you just have to embrace the fact that we're all doing the best that we can in the present moment. So maybe that's what that person thought was right to do. But the most thing is that person is most likely not conscious. They're spiritually and they're emotionally, they're not even here. They're not here. So finding forgiveness for them, and mostly finding forgiveness for ourselves. We all hang this huge like guilt and shame and disbelief and these negative feelings above ourselves that we're not good enough, or we're not as good as, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. No, we shouldn't. We should be right here where we are, and only look at yourself and see the authentic things that you've done and where it's led you to today. The unauthentic things that you've done that have led you to where you are, those things don't usually help. And we just need to realize, okay, so I wasn't being as authentic as I could be. I wasn't opening my heart to love. I wasn't finding compassion. I wasn't finding forgiveness. I wasn't loving. I wasn't being kind and caring. And that's okay. Like, all we can do is learn from these things and grow, because the world is our classroom, and people, situations are lessons. I love you all so much. Shine your light today. Love, peace.